Chapter 1. The Escape. Theo's heart raced as he stood in the lavishly decorated room, the sound of muffled chatter and music drifting in from the grand hall outside. His parents had insisted on this arranged marriage to the enigmatic billionaire Alpha Sean Leonard Merida, a man Theo had never met and knew nothing about. He had begged, argued, and even cried, but their response had been the same. "This is what's best for you, Theo." He tightened the sash of his suit jacket and glanced at the clock. His best friend Callius had promised to meet him in the back alley, ready to whisk him away from this life-altering event. Marriage? To a stranger? No, Theo couldn't go through with it. Sneaking through the corridor, his heart pounded as he avoided the watchful eyes of the wedding staff. Reaching the back door, he took a deep breath and pushed it open, stepping into the chilly evening air. A sleek black car waited, its engine humming softly. Without hesitation, Theo yanked open the door and slipped inside. "Go! Drive!" he urged, shutting the door behind him. The driver didn't respond immediately, but the car began to move. It wasn't until the car had merged onto the main road that Theo noticed the man sitting in the driver's seat. He wasn't Callius, his best friend. The man was tall, with sharp features and an air of calm confidence. His dark eyes flicked briefly to the rearview mirror, locking onto Theo's. "You're in quite a hurry," he said smoothly, his deep voice sending shivers down Theo's spine. He froze. You're not my friend." The man chuckled, low and rich. "Clearly, but it seems I'm your getaway driver now. Where to?" Theo hesitated, debating whether to jump out of the moving car or take his chances. "Anywhere but here." The man's lips curved into a faint smile. "Fair enough." Chapter 2. The Mansion. The stranger drove for what felt like hours, taking winding roads away from the bustling city. When they finally stopped, Theo found himself staring at an enormous mansion, its grand gates opening automatically. "Where are we?" Theo asked, stepping out of the car hesitantly. "My home," the man replied simply. "You can stay here for the night. Looks like you need some time to figure things out." Theo hesitated but followed. The mansion was luxurious, with high ceilings, intricate chandeliers, and an aura of quiet elegance. "Why are you helping me?" he asked as they entered a spacious living room. The man shrugged, pouring himself a glass of wine. "You seem desperate, and I've been told I'm a good listener." He frowned, feeling a mix of gratitude and suspicion. "What's your name?" "Leon," the man said, sipping his wine. "And you?" "Theo," he replied, glancing around the room. Something about this place and this man felt oddly familiar, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Chapter 3. Falling in Love. Theo stayed at Leon's mansion, and over the next 4 days, he found himself drawn to Leon. The Alpha was kind, patient, and had a dry sense of humor that never failed to make him laugh. They spent hours talking, sharing meals, and walking through the sprawling gardens of the mansion. Despite his initial reservations, Theo couldn't help but feel safe around Leon. The Alpha's subtle gestures, like the way he draped a blanket over Theo when he fell asleep on the couch or how he cooked Theo's favorite dishes, made his heart flutter. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Leon turned to him. "Why did you run away from your marriage, Theo?" He hesitated, staring into the flames. "I didn't want to marry someone I didn't know. It felt wrong." Leon's expression softened. "What if you got to know them first? Would it make a difference?" "Maybe," Theo admitted. "But it's too late for that now." Leon didn't respond immediately, but his gaze lingered on Theo for a longer time with full of unspoken emotions. Chapter 4. The Revelation. It's been a month since Theo was living with Leon, and unexpectedly one day he accidentally walked into Leon's study room while looking for the kitchen. His eyes widened when he saw an ID card lying carelessly on the desk. The name on the card was unmistakable: Sean Leonard Merida. Theo stared at the photo, his mind racing and heart pounding, and he was feeling different emotions all at once at this big revelation. He pieced everything together: the familiar surroundings, the inexplicable connection he felt with Leon, the way his parents had smiled knowingly when he'd protested their marriage. It had all been a setup, though he knew it on the 4th day of living in this mansion because the said Alpha was careless and oftentimes keeps this things like ID card or passport here and there. But even after all this time, if he still thinks about it, it made his heart pounding, and he feels all kinds of emotions. As he turned to leave the room, he finds Leon standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "You knew, didn't you?" Leon asked quietly after reading Theo's expression, which was neither surprised or shocked, as if he knew everything from before. Theo nodded, clutching the ID card. I figured it out, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to be sure. Sure of what? That I loved you, Theo said, his voice trembling. Not because our parents arranged it, but because I chose to. Leon crossed the room in a few quick strides, pulling Theo into his arms. I've loved you for years, Theo, he confessed. This marriage wasn't about convenience or business. It was my chance to finally be with you. Theo leaned into the embrace, tears pricking his eyes. You're infuriating, you know that? But I love you too. Chapter 5. Bound by Love. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the vast gardens outside Sean's mansion. The soft crackling of the fireplace provided a warm backdrop to the quiet intimacy in the room. Theo sat curled up on the couch, watching as Sean poured them each a glass of wine. Though they had spent days together, tonight felt different. It was as if an unspoken barrier had been crossed. Theo, Sean murmured, his voice low and full of emotion, as he handed over the glass. Do you regret staying here? With me. Theo took the glass, his fingers brushing against Sean's, sending a spark through him. He looked into the alpha's dark, searching eyes and shook his head. No, I don't regret it at all. His voice was soft but certain. Sean sat beside him, close enough for their knees to touch. He reached out, gently brushing a stray strand of hair from Theo's face. I've waited so long for this moment, he admitted. To have you here, to hold you, to love you the way you deserve. Theo's breath hitched at the sincerity in Sean's voice. Sean, he began, his voice trembling. I've never felt this way before. You make me feel safe, cherished. Like I'm finally where I belong. Sean didn't hesitate. He leaned in, capturing Theo's lips in a kiss that was both tender and electrifying. Theo melted into the touch, his heart racing as Sean deepened the kiss, cradling Theo's face with a reverence that made him feel adored. Their kisses grew more passionate, filled with a longing that had been simmering between them for days. Are you sure about this? Sean whispered, his voice husky as he looked into Theo's flushed face. Theo nodded, his eyes shining with trust. Yes, I want this. I want you. Sean lifted Theo into his arms effortlessly, carrying him to the bedroom. The room was bathed in soft candlelight. The bed adorned with silk sheets, he set him down gently as if he were the most precious thing in the world. What followed was a symphony of whispered promises and tender touches. Sean worshipped Theo with every kiss and caress, his movements deliberate and full of love. Theo responded with equal fervor, his body and heart opening to the alpha who had become his everything. As they moved together, their connection deepened, their souls entwining in a way that felt fated. Sean's possessive yet gentle nature made Theo feel completely claimed and cared for, while Theo's soft gasps and touches ignited a fire within Sean. They lay tangled in each other's arms afterward, the world outside long forgotten as they basked in the afterglow of their love. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight streamed through the curtains, waking Theo from a peaceful sleep. He turned to see Sean watching him, a soft smile on his face. Good morning, darling, Sean murmured, brushing a kiss against Theo's forehead. Morning, Theo replied, his cheeks heating as memories of the night before flooded back. He hesitated before speaking again. Do you think last night, could it have... Male omegas have the highest fertility rate, which leads him to think this the first thing in the morning. Sean's smile widened, a glint of hope and excitement in his eyes. If it did, I would be the happiest man alive. Theo laughed softly, his hand instinctively resting on his stomach. Though it was too early to know, a part of him already felt a change, a warmth that made his heart swell with anticipation. Whatever the future held, Theo knew they would face it together, bound by a love that was unbreakable. And if a new life was truly going to growing within him, it would be a testament to the depth of their connection, a symbol of the happiness they had found in each other. Epilogue: A New Beginning. Months later, Theo and Sean stood in the same grand hall where the wedding had been arranged, but this time it was a celebration of their love, a love they had chosen together. The ceremony was intimate, filled with laughter, joy, and promises of a future they would build side by side. As the evening wore on, Theo rested a hand on his stomach, a soft smile playing on his lips. He turned to Sean, who looked at him with pure adoration. Our little one is going to be just as stubborn as you, he teased. Sean chuckled, placing a hand over Theo's. As long as they're just as lovable as you, I'll manage. Their love story, though unconventional, was proof that sometimes